helping me. So thank you. If you don't mind me eating, just whoever wants to go first, let me know I can help, and I'm happy to mentor.
You guys want to kick it off?
How do you start?
Yeah, sure.
I'm a tech person, but I still love writing notes.
Good.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I think for our company, we're kind of at this beyond pre-seed stage right now. Kind of looking whatever seed/Series A type funding round right now, and I guess for us, we're expanding beyond that, just us in the garage type thing, to 15 now and ramping up from there. I guess how have you dealt with, obviously you've started like from the ground up, you've seen every stage, like how have you battled against imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
And that kind of thing, and like, you know, every 6 months, you know, they talk about like you're unqualified for your job.
Yeah.
And kind of how you kind of approach that next phase while like obviously still needing to give confidence to investors that you know what you're doing driving the bus while you sometimes don't.
So I'll tie this into almost everything, including you taking notes. What I like to do when I feel the imposter syndrome coming on, and you can imagine at any stage of your life, if you're doing things the right way, meaning consistently, persistently pursuing your potential, that you are going to get above where you were before or where even you thought you may be. So for me, it's like when I executive produce a TV show for Apple TV and they develop shows with Martha Stewart for Apple, and like I didn't go to film school. I wasn't in the entertainment business, right? So you can imagine what an imposter I feel like with some of the stuff I get to do. Even, you know, the people that text me sometimes, I'm like, could you ever imagine this person, like Jack Canfield's my good friend. I saw him on The Secret years and years ago going, that guy changed my life, Bob Proctor or whoever. So what I do is I think about not in terms of there's a difference between us and them. It's just how do I make myself equal? And then what skills and knowledge do I need in order to effectuate filling the gap between what I know and what I don't know? So it stems to these two things, ignorance and ignorance. When I feel like an imposter, I'm being ignorant and arrogant because I know I don't know what I don't know, but I think that other people, I need to pretend that I know it. That's what creates the imposter energy. So like taking notes, I always say, I speak a lot, and I tell people, look, all I want you to do is write down the lessons that resonate with you. Don't write down everything I say, don't write down nothing, because both are gonna have the same results. You write down everything I say, you ain't gonna ever access it again, and if you write down nothing, there's nothing to access. What I want you to do is notate somewhere something that resonates with you, and then figure out a system to access it later. So all you do is create a repository of accessible lessons that resonate with you. So under the context of ignorance and ignorance, when we're ignorant and arrogant is when we feel like we're an imposter, because we know we're equal on some levels with the new people you're raising money, the new employees, but there's a differential between this new situation. So I go straight to ignorant humility. Ignorant humility says, I don't know what I don't know, and I know what I don't know. Therefore, I'm going to find someone who knows it and ask them for help, ask them for directions. The minute I show to an investor my ignorant humility, he'll be more confident because I'm more credible, because anyone that's investing knows you don't know everything. The last thing I want someone to pitch me is I know everything. I'm an expert at this. I want someone that's like, I know what I know, but there's a ton obviously I don't know, but I'm a person that knows how to find someone that sits in the situation I want to be in and ask them for directions and modify those directions to make it applicable to my situation. That will reduce and relieve. Thank you, Lynn, for coming. I'm David. Everyone else is Ryan, Mark. Ashni, I got that right. Does that help you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's two sides. Obviously, the investor side, and that makes a lot of sense. You know, I think that what you think you should be, like when you're raising money and just being able to, you know, kind of close that deal, and then kind of transforming into that next phase where now it's like, all right, now we have your check, like now you're bought in, like, and you kind of like, there was a bit of a shift there, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Because if you just get up there and say, like, I don't know how to build this company, but like, I want you to give me $500,000 versus...
No, that's to make yourself equal, right? I know how to build this company. Obviously, there's certain things I don't know, but what I do know is how to find people. And part of the reason I want you to be an investor is I want to use you as a resource to indicate to me what I don't know and give me directions on how to get there.
Yeah.
Now you're empowering them, asking them for help, showing the humility, adding value.
I got a question connected to that then.
Yeah.
I'm in a business that we have 2 standing, profitable, successful businesses. We spun a software company off of it. So we've been funding that ourselves. At some point in time, though, you don't know what you don't know, right? And then you fill that gap like you just talked about. What are the benefits of taking an outside funding source versus trying to continue to pull cash off another business and fund it? When do you say, hey, it makes sense to bring somebody in that has that network or blueprint or whatever could accelerate things moving faster, in your opinion?
What I like people to do is to identify the math. So any of these situations are really about your investment in your business. Whenever you make an investment of time, emotion, value, or money, you want to know your timing and risk tolerance. Obviously, putting in your own money has more risk. It has a different timing to what you're capable of doing. If you know your timing and risk tolerance, then you can make a mathematical decision by saying, okay, here's my timing and risk tolerance. Maybe I should shed off 10% and not take so much of my own capital to reduce or mitigate the risk because I've already earned that because I built the company to this point. Therefore, it's more aligned with what I want. My timing and risk tolerance is almost completely polar opposite to what it was when I went bankrupt. It was 90% lottery ticket, confidence in my ignorant arrogance, and 10% security. Now it's 90% guaranteed.
Yep.
Nothing I invest in could I lose a penny in. The least I can make is 2%. I have upside capabilities on it, and 10% I can lose everything.
Yep.
That's what I use to invest in people like you guys. Or buy a lottery ticket, or play craps, or whatever else is aligned with the timing and risk tolerance of, and I'll tell you, just straightforward, my timing and risk tolerance on 10% of what I make is I could lose everything. The minute I make my investment back, I pull out my investment and then have either some secondary stage of pulling money out or just let it all ride for my kids and let them deal with it. But I don't care. If I lose everything, I already knew going in. That was my timing. And I have so many things that my kids are going to have to deal with. Like all my crypto, I bought risky crypto. I bought one at 10 cents. I told myself, okay, at $1, I'm going to sell out what I put in a little bit more. And then when it hits $3, I'm going to sell out 25% of it for more profit for me at $3. And everything else is for my kids. So when the market crashed, I won. See, what position you don't want to be in is, which I see a lot of entrepreneurs in, and you may be in this right now. I'll take crypto as an example. I had a kid that I coach, and he bought the same thing I did at 10 cents. And then at $3, he sold it all. He didn't take the same strategy as me. He sold it all at $3, all of it. That's a big gain. When it went to $6.49, which it went to, he was kicking himself, telling me,
Sure.
I'm an idiot, I'm a loser. I'm like, in what world do you buy something for 10 cents and sell it for $3? Are you an idiot? Where you didn't listen to me is knowing your timing and risk tolerance, so you're never gonna feel like you won. I feel like a huge winner, and I didn't make as much money as he did, right? I did, but I'm a huge winner because it was aligned with my timing and risk tolerance. Do the same thing in the business.
Yep.
Apply each individual opportunity separately. Is this aligned with my timing and risk tolerance? Do the math.
Yep.
See what's more beneficial for you.
How much value is there in what people know about the model, the connections, businesses that are like yours, et cetera? Like, it's not all financial, right? Some of it comes down to advice, right? Getting really good coaching.
And introductions. Like, I have companies that have given me $2 million because I could introduce them into $2 billion of opportunity.
Right.
So it's determined upon the situation.
Yeah.
And I make people guarantee, and I guarantee what I do. I don't want your money. Even my coaching, right? I have a group that all of you are invited to join. It's $97 a month. But for any reason, I'll give you your money back. The economy could fall and I'll give you your money back.
Right.
I don't care because I want to guarantee value. And if I'm not bringing the value, now most people make way more than the $97 every month.
Sure.
Right? Because I give one-on-one coach. I do these mentoring sessions virtually, and you can watch the replays, and I have a networking group for you. So with investors and all of those people. So I do what I can to provide that value. Same thing with my big clients. Right? Chairmen of the Fortune 10 are my clients, and I may charge up to $50,000 a month. But if you're making $1 million a year off of me, and you're paying me $600,000, can you see the reason you won't want to use me?
No,
and I guarantee it.
100%.
And I guarantee it. You can do the same thing in your business. Make them guarantee it. Some guy's talking, how great he is, and say, terrific. I'll reward you for that. But I want you to guarantee it. So then if it says, well, I can't guarantee that you'll get business, but I'll put you in front of them. Okay, that has value. I may have to hire 3 sales reps to get me in front of that person in a year instead of being able to get in front of that person in 2 weeks. There's a value there.
Right.
Guaranteed value. So if he makes the introduction and you get the meeting, then you would give him that much. So I'm very quantitative when people make promises. I trust them so much that I vet them and hold them to it. That's how much. So if my mom tells me she's going to do something for me, she doesn't mind me asking about it. Why? Because she knows I trust her implicitly. So there's no uncomfortable feelings. What time are you going to pick me up? Who else is going to come? That's what you're doing in your businesses, but for some reason we feel uncomfortable, especially as an investor,
Right.
or someone that, right, is a strategic advisor. I had a big deal yesterday. The guy was just grilling me. I'm like, thank you so much for trusting me. Right? Like feeling comfortable enough to ask me these hard questions. So who exactly is it? I would have not lost everything if I trusted and vetted, not just trusted.
Yeah.
Could you share more about what your vetting process is, or is it really just the questioning?
Yeah, so I have an open-ended question guide for my vetting process
Okay.
because it allows me to get more clues, see more patterns, and make better choices. Get more clues is the objective, to create patterns, to make better choices. So in open-ended questioning, hey, what are you doing today? Where do you think you can help me? What would you like about that? What don't you like about it? Where would be the risks of that? Who do you actually know? When you told me it was 300% increase, is that, there's an exact number that the 300% indicates? Right, I'm very, I vet out numbers really well because people can manipulate numbers. Oh, our revenue's up 300%. Okay, how much did you, exactly.
Right.
But a lot of people feel uncomfortable asking that question.
Yeah.
Or just the question, who? Well, I know a lot of people that love that. Okay, who? Let's go down those. I trust you so much. Look, I want the details so we can figure this out. But open-ended questions are the best way to gather clues, see patterns, and make better choices. Best choices are made from patterns. Because statistically, right, we can go ahead and see some subjective nature in business or in relationships or in money. We can see patterns. That's what AI does, right? So I kind of am a human intelligence. Any more questions?
There's a lot of talk about recession is coming up, and VCs and investments are getting a little harder, at least for the next year or so. What are some things that we could do to try to prove to you or other investors that our product is recession-proof? Like, what would you need to see for something like that?
So first of all, we are in a recession already.
Yes.
People don't like to
Everyone's got
talk.
debates on it, but yes, I agree.
I can't see how we're not.
Yeah.
Things don't seem like they're going better than they were in January.
Better than they were 2.5 years ago.
And that's my litmus test, right? It seems pretty easy, but that's okay because that's where millionaires are made. So nothing's recession proof or good time proof.
Yeah.
So I think we have to stick to exactly what we would do pre-recession. I just think there's less competition.
Okay.
Because I think, people are much more scrutinizing when there is a recession. They're looking at things closer. They don't have as much money to move, and they don't have to move as much money. Those are the two indicators of why people would throw money at companies, why it was easier to do, but that doesn't mean they were successful. You have a great opportunity to go ahead and, one, be credible. Tell me why, during good times and bad, you're going to be successful no matter what. Show me you have a desire that you must be what you can be. Show me you have the capability of changing and evolving and transitioning, either through relationship, situational knowledge, mentorship, or hard work. Credibility. Let's set an emotional attachment. Find out what I like about what you're doing and what I don't like about what you're doing. Sometimes I'll invest in a deal because I don't like something about it, and the entrepreneur asks me for why I don't want to invest, instead of just letting me go away with the thought that I don't like this deal because blank, blank, blank. They actually are smart enough to say, what don't you like about this deal? And then I tell them, like, oh, thank God you brought that up, because I didn't cover this. I'm so in love with my product, I'm so entrenched in my business, I just assumed you understood that part of it. I didn't realize you didn't. And then I'm like, oh shit, this deal is awesome. Why did you tell me that? So emotional attachment is extremely important in finding what you like and what you don't like. Then practice. This is the big one to me, that people, they don't think they have time to do it because they don't think it's important. I think the most important thing is to practice articulating the quantitative value to exceed what you're asking for. Don't just assume that you're good at it because you know your company. Sit in a mirror, practice with your friends and family, videotape yourself, audio record yourself, pitch to a point where you can articulate the quantitative value to exceed what you're asking for. You know how I know when someone can't do that? Is they don't have an ask. How much have you practiced and you don't even have an ask?
Pretty tough.
Very. So if you know what you're asking for, you can work backwards and say, where on my own chart of quantifiable value, can I say, hey, you want to buy this pen for $1 million, right? You want to buy that pen for $1 million?
Can I sign a contract to be worth 10?
Yeah.
All right.
There we go. See?
That'd be interesting.
Exactly right. Most people will be like, are you crazy? But I practice articulating the quantitative value. He didn't let or need me to do so, but in effect I did by agreeing to the fact that, I guarantee I'll give him a $10 million loan, put in escrow another $10 million, or $9 million I'll put into escrow. So I'll give him a $10 million loan and say, hey, if you can't make $10 million, I'll go ahead and release that and put it in escrow to whoever you want, whatever. Right? I can come up with the deal to articulate the value to exceed what he's asking for. And that's what it answers everything. The fourth one that'll be more important during a recession is impact. People today, don't forget, what a recession's gonna do is there's been this greater separation of the middle class. More people have more money and more people have less money. During the recession, it's not going to affect $8 gas, not going to affect me.
I'm upset about it, but I
it's
still pay.
I'm not even upset about it. It doesn't
Depends
affect
on what you
me.
think about it.
Why would I? That would diminish my capacity.
Sure.
Like, whether or not I pay an extra $140 a month to drive somewhere, I don't give a fuck. Excuse my language. But who's it going to impact? The more people with less money. That's why I care. Not because it affects me. That's why I care about gas. Because it affects. But in investing, more people have more money, more people have less money. So one, we have an easier job because we identify the people with more money, articulate value to exceed what they're asking for. They got to put their money somewhere. Most of the people that won't raise money shouldn't have been able to raise money. Most people that don't raise money during a recession shouldn't have raised money, those type of people, during the good times.
But they managed to because there's a lot more free flowing cash. Yeah.
Sorry. I asked her for permission to do that. One more thing. In the context of raising money and even selling your product, service, or solution, don't use features and benefits to dump onto people. People can smell an agenda. One of the key indicators of selling your agenda is only discussing features and benefits, dumping them. Features and benefits of your product, service, or solution are supposed to be utilized to infuse credibility, emotional attachment, value, and impact. That's how you use all the great features and benefits of your company, product, or to infuse those four things, not to diffuse those four things by dumping onto people that, and this car, and if you buy one and get one and pay for shipping, no one wants, you can smell that agenda. But if you say, right, I was working with, and use that feature as a credibility, oh, you told me that you don't like this about what you're currently doing, we actually do that. Would that be of interest to you? Can you see any reason you won't want to move forward? That's how business is done, that's how money's raised. And then, Lynn, do you have something?
Oh no, I'm just wondering, you've been through, you're very experienced, right, in running a company, but I'm just wondering, aside from capital, in terms of, team building and culture, what do you think is the thing that's important to you?
To me? I'm very clear on what's important to me. I want to empower people like you to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. I want to create a consciousness of sponsors and power sponsors. People that have capability of helping others and people that know people that can help others. The more time that I can spend opening minds, hearts, and hands, the more time I can have you spend with an open heart, open hands, and open mind will just facilitate more abundance. See, I already believe there's everything. See, I don't want you to make more money. I don't want you to be more happy, more wealthy, or more worthy. I want you to figure out what you're doing to interfere with it. I want you to believe you already are happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy, and you're just doing certain things out of lack of experience, ignorance, and help to interfere with what's already yours. So if I can shift the paradigm and perspective of young people like you, that will carry that forward to another generation of young people. So 1,000 people empowering 1,000, empowering 1,000. 1,000 times 1,000 equals 1,000,000. 1,000,000 times 1,000 equals 1,000,000,000. I've been able to create a collective consciousness or community of sponsors and power sponsors. Now we're going to access the abundance that's available to all of us. We're not going to waste time, value, emotion, and friends. We're not going to get in our own way as much. We're going to live at peace. We're going to live at ease, not dis-ease. And I believe the reconciliation of the pragmatic world of today and the theoretical worlds of yesterday and tomorrow are reconciled by making a lot of money. It's a tool, right? Money doesn't buy the love or happiness, doesn't buy the ethereal, but it allows you to shop for it. And if you shop for the right things for the right reasons, you'll be super happy and make other people super happy.
Nice.
And business is about making money to help people.
Yep.
Right? People think business is about making money, or other people just think it's about being busy, getting so busy that they don't make money. A lot of people think business is about that. Money's about creating abundance, which is making a lot of money to help a lot of people so that they make a lot of money to help a lot of people, and everyone has fun, lives at ease, not at dis-ease.
Going on to the impacts topic that you're talking about. So I was born and grew up in Kenya, where family's been there for 4 generations. one of my goals is to bring the tech and knowledge that I've learned here and find ways to take it back to Kenya and Africa in general.
Where in Kenya?
Where in Kenya? Nairobi.
Oh, right on.
That's where we're
Been there many times.
Oh, I have plenty of questions for you about that. What are some of the things that you would, from everything that you've seen, explored, like all the startups that you've been involved with, what are some of the things that people should keep in mind when expanding to African countries and trying to bring some of this tech? Because I have a lot of opinions on it as a person who's
Sure.
from there, but it's nice to hear from other perspectives.
So I've made major investments into Kenya, especially the Masai Mara. I'm chairman of Unstoppable Foundation there.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
So Justin's been with me as well. I have learned you have to meet people where they're at. That's the key component.
Yeah.
And it's true here too.
Yeah.
But there's less of a differentiator in perspective, culture, and meeting people where they're at is so important when we go to these international, maybe less developed countries. Because, take it a sports analogy. If I put you into a game, at the NBA level, I'm not doing you a favor. But if I meet you where you're at and say, hey, go to junior college for 2 years, and here's all the things we're going to teach you in junior college, and then you get into UCLA, and then you learn more things, playing for John Wooden. Now you put in the G League, and you learn some more things, and then you're in the NBA. I've done a great job. I've helped you consistently, persistently pursue your potential. And you may not be the greatest basketball player of all time that could get by being the greatest basketball player of all times without having the things that were learned because you had an energetic and genetic inheritance by being born to a rich family or whatever. Makes a big advantage in business. I mean, I'd love to have unlimited resources to learn lessons and to pay dummy taxes. I can tell you, I see a lot of businesses. I find it funny that I know a lot of rich kids, like in their 20s, and they have successful businesses now. But their parents, funded about 10 million to get to 2 million in revenue today, which eventually the parents will get their money back. But all everyone sees is a business making $2 million and some rich kid that parents paid for that education. So in Nairobi or in the Masai Mara, wherever I've been, I meet them where they're at, and I ask a lot of open-ended questions. Tell me what you're doing today. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? What are the nuances of the government and corruption and other things that may happen? Tell me about yours and other people's experiences so I can protect and promote. I'm willing to make the investment. But let's start off crawling before we walk, before we run. Let's start off in junior college. I'm not just going to go throw $2 million at you because I'm not that parent, right? I can't throw another $2 million when you learn the lessons about, oh shit, we should have paid off that guy.
Do you mind if I ask where you stay when you go to Nairobi normally?
Yeah. So we stay. Justin, what's the name of that hotel we stay at? That white hotel we stay at in Nairobi?
Oh, shoot. I stayed at a different one, but I forget
Oh,
the name.
I stayed at that really famous, it's big white compound.
Okay.
I'll get the name of it to you.
Okay. The reason I ask is because our family actually has a hotel out there.
Oh, really? What's the name?
The Tribe Hotel, and then Trademark is another one. And
Awesome.
They're attached to the Village Market, which is the massive mall.
Oh,
So
very
if
cool.
you're
Yeah,
ever coming down,
we were out like by the plantation, man, like big houses.
Fair enough.
But that's where we were. But I'm more than happy to try it.
Yes. I'll
And
connect
we
with
send
you
a lot of people to Africa.
Yeah, I'll connect with you and I'll send you.
Yeah, that's
the names
super
and
cool.
stuff. My cousin manages a lot of that stuff now.
I did a meetup in Nairobi, and I was so surprised how many entrepreneurs there were.
Yeah.
They're bigger than Collision, like the meetup.
That's cool.
Yeah. They're really, but you got to meet them where they're at, right?
The joke with Kenya is like it's hustle culture out there.
Yeah.
And so like everyone's
happy
got
hustle.
Everyone's got 5 hustles going on at a time.
Yeah.
But they're all happy.
Yeah.
Like if you
That's
want
it.
to feel good, you just like drive in your car and people, Jumbo, something to attract that horrific thing. but what did I do to participate in it? So when you're 54, you can say, what am I supposed to learn from it? Would I have told my mom, or would I have done, right? Whatever it is, would I have done that? When we start taking this type of mindset of learning and being promoted and protected, in a rocket in your windshield, or my favorite of how hypocritical people are about a mindset is I watch my wife drive and she'll get cut off by someone and she'll get so mad, like flip them off, you know, like, can you flip? I could have. I'm like, you literally have cut off so many people in your life, because I drive with her, right? And if that person's mad, what's his problem? Why is he flipping me off? Why is he so mad? I didn't do that on purpose. This is exactly how the universe
Flip
works,
around, yeah.
right? Or your daughters, right? I can't believe that she's so mean and said that behind my back. And then immediately, like 2 seconds won't even pass, they'll go talk shit behind that girl's back. I thought you just said that was horrific,
Yeah.
that girl talked behind your back. So a lot of lessons in that.
I have a question, David. So just like when you build your company, how do you go attract the talents you want? Because it is a very competitive landscape, especially in tech companies. Like you're competing with Google, like
Yeah.
like big companies. So
Yeah. Your frequency is your neighborhood, especially when it comes to recruiting talent and retaining talent. And so my belief is that when you are very clear on your essence as a company, so I use Shakespeare, I know to thine own self be true, what my values are and what my daily practices are for my company. I have a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday reiterated on a non-negotiable mandatory virtual meeting. These are my 4 values: gratitude, empathy, accountability, and effective communication. We are in a practice of knowing our what every day with a midterm and long-term trajectory that scares everybody. It's so audacious and outrageous, to change the world is our objective by empowering over 1 billion people, by making money, helping people, and having fun. It makes my hairs stand thinking about how do I answer someone, they're like, what do you do? I'm changing the world. But if I told you what I'm doing today and everyone in my company what we're doing today, it's very realistic, but it's aiming towards that, knowing who we can help and who can help us, how best to get it done with lenses of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude, and a keen system through being a student of our calendar by paying attention and giving intention, 5 levels, what we do, say, think, believe, and feel, all aligned with what's important to us. Knowing our now. And then only spending minutes and moments in the bullshit by identifying all the places that we're interfering with our potential. They need to be right, they need to be offended, they need to be separate, inferior, superior, imposter, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful, worrying, complaining, attacking. My company spends minutes and moments in doing that, so I know my essence. And everyone that works with me carries the same frequency of that essence. Frequency is a neighborhood, so instead of what I see a lot of companies doing, they're not clear what their essence is. Their vibration is low, their frequency is low at the company. Engagement is low, productivity is low, the energy is low. So in an analogous situation, if your frequency is your neighborhood, they're living in the projects, sitting in a lawn chair next to, with all this potential, sitting next to some other one with a lot of potential, but they're drinking Colt 45s, talking about what they want to be without doing, saying, thinking, believing, and feeling it, and having a system to execute on it. Where I'm over in the dream, and so when we ask each other for help at that frequency, you have trouble finding and recruiting. Hey, you want to come work with me? Oh, fuck, why, right? What options, opportunities, or touches of favor can you give me, and vice versa. But when I'm over at the dream homes, in the gated dream homes in Newport Coast, every one of my neighbors gives me options, opportunities, and touches of favor. And I say to you, hey Ryan, man, you seem really sharp to me. Want to come live in my neighborhood? Want to be occupied 8 hours a day in my neighborhood? Or do you want to go sit in the projects with a Colt 45 with a bunch of other people, high, broke, and sick on their mom's couch. That's the way I see recruitment and retention. Values and daily practices that are clearly aligned with an audacious objective that scares everybody, but giving them realistic objectives for the day that nobody would laugh at, scoff at, or make fun of. I'm very active. I have activity, I get paid for activity I don't get paid for. Sleep is an activity to me. I'm very efficient, effective, and statistically successful, and all the people around me are as well.
Is it more risky to call out problems or work them culturally through your team
Great question.
as you're going through them? Right.
So I give a dummy tax award. Every Monday, part of my Monday morning mandatory meeting, besides going over the values and the daily practices and student in my calendar for the week, I give a dummy tax award. So I go, every person, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned? What's the mistake or lesson? And whoever has the most impactful lesson gets a bonus. Not only does it help improve and elevate everyone as a whole, sharing the lessons, but it also opens up the minds, hearts, and hands that it's okay to make mistakes. I want fast learners. I want people making a ton of mistakes and learning from it. I don't want you making the same mistake, and that means you haven't learned from it. But I want fast learners. Fast learners are awesome people to be around, right? They're like, oh, I tried this, it didn't work, I tried. That's why I'm such a good digital marketer, because I'm a test and go person. I'm not a test and I know. Or I know and go, I should say. They don't test, right? I test and go. Most people are I know and go. You don't know. How the hell do you know? I don't care, these people are like, oh, you know all the algorithms and this bullshit and that bullshit. Really? Then why is my videos outperforming you? Why? Because most of them don't outperform you. But I know how to test. So I throw $10 at it on a practice account, test the colors, the captions. So yes, I initially invest $100 into 10 videos for $1,000, but I get the one that is gonna kill it. Then I throw money at it. So instead of paying somebody $2,000 on my $10,000 to I know and go, I pay $1,000 testing and $9,000 to spend on the one video that's going to perform. Don't be a I know and go, be a test and go.
My background's software development. We do a lot of testing.
How about? That's awesome. Any other questions?
I've had one and I'm blanking on it now.
That's
See if
okay.
it comes back.
How are we doing on time? 5 minutes? Oh, we got one question. Anybody?
How do you think about, obviously I get the audacious goal and the reality of day to day,
Yeah.
realistic things, but like how do you,
Minus like 5 minutes left.
Thank you.
how do you link the two? But like in terms
Yeah.
of like measurement, like how do you tell us like we're doing this every day?
Yeah.
And
So,
there's this big audacious goal, but how do you bring the two worlds together?
so first of all, I take a step back from there. The past is relative and the future is relative. I give meaning to both. My past is a lot longer than yours, but it could be a lot shorter. The things that at the time were extremely difficult are the best things that ever happened to me. I give meaning to the past, so I also give meaning to my future. I'm not afraid of changing my mind. Remember, I like fast learners. So I make a commitment for today that everything that I'm going to do, say, think, believe, and feel are going to be aligned with what I think I want in the future. But from the lessons of today, the only time that man-made constructive time is applicable, 24 hours doesn't matter tomorrow, by the way, because it may not be here. That's relative. But today, 24 hours matters. And it matters towards my objectives in the future that are relative to me. So I'm going to learn all day long by testing and going, not I know and go. But I'm going to learn all day long. And then when I have my unwinding routine at night, putting myself in a position of recovery and access, and I wake up in the morning at 4 a.m. and meditate for 20 minutes to transcend that information, I'm going to say to myself, what do I want today according to my new thoughts? So when we're doing this every day, the subtleties of my long-term objectives may change, but there's no dramatic changes. And if there is dramatic changes, it doesn't matter, because then I go ahead and say to myself, considering, COVID overwhelmed, it's impossible, because you know what's important to you and you know how to prioritize. So no matter what's happening, you're like, I'll do this next. Sitting on TikTok for 6 hours is not important to me. Therefore, I'm not going to do it. You'll apply your why instead of searching for something you already have. You'll realize you're happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy, and you'll start practicing and figuring out what you're doing to interfere with it. You'll be more productive, more accessible, and more gracious. You'll make more money, help more people, and have more fun. You'll help other people make more money, help more people, and have more fun within your own organization, within your family, community, or hopefully even the world. It all stems from these daily practices in an open mind, open heart, and open hands. No ego involved that, Dave, I thought you told me this was a bad time to buy real estate. I changed my mind. Interest rates are 8%, not 3%. Or I learned this yesterday about Airbnb. I didn't know you could rent out daily houses at a daily rate. That completely just changed the business model of my rental. Why are people so tight? I hate people like, I won't change my mind. I'll always do that. I'm like, in what world do I want to be with someone that thinks they're always going to do something? Have you no experience of the universe? The only thing that's certain is uncertainty. Acceleration of change is a certainty. You'll kill it. I'm going to send you, email me, David at Meltzer. I'll send you my book and the daily practices, so as an exercise, so you can use that. And then email me if you need anything else. Please think about joining my group too. I'll put the link in there.
I got one last 10-second question, because you measure everything. How much do you sleep every night?
So I have an unwinding routine at 9.
Okay.
So put myself, no caffeine, drugs, alcohol, to put myself in a position of recovery. I could pass out by 9:05, but I'm guaranteed to pass out by 11. So I sleep a minimum of 5 hours a night. I don't know my maximums. It's determinative upon that system, but a minimum of 5 hours a night.
Okay. Because you'll be asleep by 11 and you're going to get up at 4 and do your meditation.
No matter what.
And
I don't use an alarm.
That don't sleep enough like that.
Yeah.
I'm probably one of them.
Well, let me tell you the example I use. Imagine the majority of people on earth go to bed at night and wake up more tired than they went to bed. If you're doing that, it'd be like us going out to lunch right now, eating for 2 hours our favorite food, and walking out of the restaurant after 2 hours and going, man, am I hungry? We would something wrong. There's something wrong if you're not elevating to a new plateau, to a new potential, a new baseline to the day every night. Sleep, recovery, and access is way more than important than any other activity, including an activity you get paid for, including time with your family. Nothing will make you healthier than sleep. Thank you guys, all of you. Thanks for coming.
Do you mind if I scan you?
No.
That way I can have your email and find it more easily.
You want to take